Yes, we are live. Listen, better late than never, right? It's your boy Coach UV with the Unique Trading Group. Listen, you know what's crazy, guys? Those who are tuning in, SPY did it again. That's right, SPY did it again. Last night, I literally said, don't be surprised if we wake up to higher prices. And boom, we open higher. Now, here's the thing. Most see that as a panic. They rush in, they chase the green candles, and they get smoked from the first pullback. But I told you guys to be patient. I informed you, I guided. I said, listen, be patient. Wait for price to pull back to the 21 EMA. That's your high probability entry. That's how to trade with the market, not against it. Listen, guys, thanks for tuning in and clicking on this video tonight. If you're not subscribed, make sure you hit that bell and subscribe to the channel. That way you don't miss any valuable drops. And smash that like button if you've been enjoying these videos. And if you know you're going to continue to get value in return for you stopping by. Now, I want to quickly get to some recap. I know what you guys came in for. This is how to day trade for a living, the SPY gap and go. I'm going to tell you guys exactly how to maneuver what we've seen today and where we're going from that. But what we're going to do first is when a quickly hop over. I want you guys to see just the video from last night, all right? 2 segues, and then we're going to hop over to the charts. Check me out here. All right, traders, welcome back to the Unique Trading Group, where strategy meets mindset and discipline turns into income. Truly, I got some good game for you guys, some specific details about SPY and the broader market, what you should be looking for, and what to think about for the coming weeks ahead, okay? This Fear and Greed Index, okay? This is the index that tells you human behavior, right? Human behavior. If this is your first time hearing about it, I'll explain. This has to do with human psychology. Are we fearful? Are we greedy? There's a famous quote by Warren Buffett that says, be greedy when others are fearful, and be fearful when others are greedy. And we are sitting right here at extreme fear. Now, some would look at this as a contrarian view, which means doing the opposite from the crowd. This to me is a signal, all right? We could have more buying, all right, towards the upside, extreme fear. We could have more buying, all right? But we want to wait for the right signal in the proper. All right, you hear that? All right, we're going to speed the video up all the way up to about the 12-minute mark, because not only did I predict the rally, right, based on my criteria, but I told you guys the entry to take and what to wait for. Here we go again. Check it out. Downtrend, you have a series of lower lows and lower highs, all right? And so you don't have that right here. You have a uptrend, all right? Now, the reason why I say that this is bearish divergence is because the MACD RSI indicator I use, the QQE module, is going down. We're losing momentum, all right? And we're not above the 21 EMA on our chart, all right? I like to buy price. I like to bet that price is going to go towards the upside, all right? I don't really need to know where it's going to go to make money. I just want to trade my setup, all right? And one thing that I like to use is the 21 EMA. It's a very high probability setup. Just glancing at my chart, you can see we consolidated here, but once we got above it real good, we shot up here. Even had some gaps, right? Right here, same thing. Buying the 21. Right here, same thing. Getting above, buying the 21, all right? This one was below, but price got bought up. Okay, now you see the point? Do you guys see the point? All right, right by the 21. I hope you can see that, all right, because we're going to go right to the charts. Right in front of you is the 1 hour chart. And what do we have? All right, price got above the 21. We gapped up like we talked about. All right, people chase. I said wait for the pullback. We got that pullback, right? People that were in longs decided to take out. Stops get ran. Okay, we came back at the top of that gap. We didn't even get inside of the gap, right? Extended away from the 21, and the bulls found momentum. We pushed up for a couple of hours today on the SPY, and that's what you have. All right, I want you guys to understand the accuracy of somebody's experience. And now we're going to get into these trades, and we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it because this perfect pullback for tomorrow could be a big payday for you. All right, I'm talking cash money. Okay, because we are trying to get to certain highs. You cannot trade with fear. Now, SPY looks very prime for tomorrow, all right? Momentum was building all weekend. Got the global markets, right? They're green overnight. Technical structure was coiling for the continuation. You guys seen that from last week. I just dropped a video last night that you just recap, letting you know these type of things, all right? Preparing you for it. So this morning, we got it. SPY gapped up pre-market, and at the open, it was a quick round of profit taking, all right? What you need to understand is the gap never filled. You see that right in front of you, that the gap never filled. That's the key. So SPY's holding above that zone. It's building a base. All right. That's the rip higher that you see right here. All right. That's the rip higher that you got right here. That's a classic gap up and go move. All right. You gap right here, gap down, and continue. All right. So that's a gap and go. It didn't fill this gap. All right. If it fills the gap, it'll be a gap. All right. A breakout pullback to come and fill this gap, but that hasn't happened yet. And the 4-hour time frame looks really, really primed. All right, for us to retouch these Bollinger Bands towards 689, 685. All right, of course, 690, 691. The ultimate target, you guys, you ready? You ready for it? All right, $700. That's my next target on SPY. So lucky you to catch this video tonight. This is what's happening, and like I always say, wait for a pullback if you're not already in. All right, and I'll go into some details about that. Right now I want to continue the commentary because you could have made some money last night just paying attention to the video. All right, remember in my what's next for SPY video yesterday, I told you to watch the high yield corporate bond ETF. That was the HYG. Remember I told you guys that? All right, so we're going to go over to that chart. All right, remember we talked about if SPY was going to gap up, then you need it for this moment here to happen. I even got the same blue line that I put from the previous video to fill that gap. And once it filled, SPY can continue towards the upside. All right. And we didn't quite fill that gap up here yet, but we did see some momentum and SPY did rally. So this could again be a telltale for you to wait for the perfect pullback towards a 21 EMA. All right, at 21 EMA, there we have it again. All right, don't forget that. You see that right here. It was filling its own gap, and while HYG was moving like that, it signals a risk-on sentiment for SPY. Institutions, they start buying. Liquidity is flowing in. SPY gets that extra push to the upside. Everything lined up exactly as planned. All right, so here's the setup that I love. We're going to get back over to the charts on SPY. Okay, thank you guys for sticking with me. Smash that like button if you're enjoying the video so far and the accuracy, the value of the unique trading group. All right, this is how to day trade for a living. This is a SPY gap and go. You see the perfect pullback is going to be how you're going to make your money. All right, so if you didn't swing long over the weekend like I did, it's cool. All right, your job today was not to chase, it was just to wait. And so you're going to be able to replay this video, replay the last one, and study it and be able to go out. Wait for price to pull back to the 21 EMA on the chosen time frame. When you like speed, you like fast, try the 3 minute to 5 minute, 15, right? If you like more long term, more holds, more bang for your buck, you like the 4 hour and above, all right? These are just things to notice. Swing trading, the weekly, the monthly, the quarterly even, and so on and so forth. But the demand is right there at that 21. It's a high probability trade, all right? That's your higher low entry if you're bullish. You get it? That's your higher low entry if you're bullish. Now let's go ahead and go back. Let's go to a 30-minute time frame. I want you guys to see, because now you can see how a pullback can be initiated even though we're still bullish. All right. Now the targets, okay, 680. That was the previous high. All right. And we passed that today on SPY. As you can see, we passed 680 just barely, right? We got to 681. But it was clean. It was a very, very clean trade, okay? I mean, we were already here before. We formed a base, right? Price got bought up, broke this structure here, right here. Got above the 21. We closed above it. We gapped up. Powerful probability. Powerful probability. All right, so this is what you want to look for. Let's move on over here now. All right, 30-minute time frame. You guys are gonna understand. You're gonna get this, because if you're not in, it's really not a really good thing for you to chase. All right, see, this is where most people lose. They see a breakout, right? They see the breakout. This is the breakout. We broke out right here. They see it. They chase it. Then they panic on the pullback. And you get this move. This is a consequence of human behavior. All right? You spotting that, understanding the pullback, understanding that it's stopping by this gap, right? This zone here we created. That's always going to be here, right? You would have known that that's exactly what's happening, trapping in people who are chasing when you're taking your profit. Your stops are getting ran, right? You're locking in your money. If you enter into a trade here, your stop loss should go right below here, a 1-bar stop loss. All right, a 1-bar stop loss. It never hit your stop, and we went all the way this way. Got your stop loss moved up when market opens so that you can secure some profits, right? And once your stop loss continues to move up tight, you locking in your money, the stops get ran and the price fall. These are trading errors mixed with you taking your profit, stops getting ran, and people chasing. It just amplifies the move. Professional traders wait for emotion to cool off, all right? They let retail chase, then they step in when the chart comes to them. That pullback to the 21 was a moment on a smaller time frame. You had confirmation on the 1 hour and the 30 minute. This is the 30-minute chart right here. All right, so a simple line break structure showing buyers are stepping back in. What do I mean by that? A simple line break right here. Okay, that's your simple line break. Okay, breaking structure. This green candle here broke that structure. Open range breakout, we broke above here. This candle broke above there. You see, this candle broke higher than this one. Same as this one. This candle right here broke higher than this one. We continue towards highs. We broke these highs. Remember, we talked about the 680, right? 679. This is where we fell before. You got to be thinking, bears or whoever's shorting the market, they're going to be thinking, or at least attempting to try to do it again, right? But that didn't happen, all right? Happened here, happened over this way. But we took out the bears and the bulls took control right here at this level, okay? Momentum came in. Now you have this tweezer top here. So it's going to be interesting to see we get that pullback tomorrow on some news or some data, whether or not we open up higher tomorrow again. I will be secure privacy, moving up my stop the same as I always do. So I've accepted the risk, all right? I've swung calls, and that's the truth. But we could get that pullback to the 21 and fill this gap on some ironic data or some sort of news from Trump, right? Some tweet. So I just want you to remember that. So if you were scalping a quick put play as price reverted right here, you could have made that money. That's the difference between reacting and executing. You understand? So let's talk about how to day trade for a living really means, all right? Because it's not just about chasing every move. It's not about that. You don't need to be chasing any move. It's about securing your profits. You clock in, you execute your plan, you lock in your gains, and you clock out. The same way when you go to work and clock in at somebody's job. When you clock out, you clock in the money for the day. The difference is you don't get paid that day. You get paid on that week or bi-weekly. With this one, you get paid the next day or today, depending on your brokerage account, right? But you come back tomorrow with cash and clarity. That's the game, because the market rewards discipline. You understand? Discipline is something that people talk about. It's like a catchphrase word, but it really means something, all right? It's discipline, not drama. So just like a video game, every trading day is a new level. The market pays the player who protects the capital, manages risk, and waits for their moment. So lock in profits each day, reload, and come back for the next opportunity. That's how you stay in the game, all right? Always defining your entry, your exit, and your risk. You must predefine your risk before you enter into your trades, guys. It's about the process, not the profits. You got to remember that, all right? Trading isn't about guesswork. It's probability, all right? You're not predicting your positioning. In a track, you need to learn to journal, okay? You got to track the behavior of the price. Track the behavior of yourself. What trades are you taking? All right, study yourself. All right, it could be used as your fuel. All right, the EMA touches, the VWAP test. Over time, those stats show you where your edges live, and that's how you know what to expect when spot gaps like this. All right, the unsexy stuff, discipline, data, risk control, that's the real money maker. Every A+ setup I take is a pre-planned. All right, it's pre-planned. EMA alignment, volume confirmation, a 2-to-1 risk reward minimum, right? At minimum, especially if I'm scalping, right? That's what I'm trading and looking for. All right, that's what trading looks like, period. Okay, now I want to give you a quick rundown on the SPY. Okay, I want to give you a quick rundown. Let's put this together, okay? Now today, I'm gonna check out the 5 minute. All right, we'll check out the 5 minute. Now everything that you're just seeing on the 1 hour, the 30 minute, and all that, the 4 hour, right? You can see it here, okay? X marks the spot. We are inside of this pocket zone in this auction theory, but we still have this gap. Now most people like playing the gap right here. You know, the gap is here, but you can't assume that it's going to fill. That's what happened right here with those traders. They thought that we were going to fill the gap, and we didn't, right? They got trapped right here. What you want to look for is, if you're not in tomorrow, right? You don't know what's going to happen, right? But if you do get in tomorrow, you want to look for price to stay below the closing price of today on SPY. The closing price for SPY is 681.44. And right now, at the time of recording this video, we are at 682.11. So we are up $1 and some change. Well, not $1 actually. Well, yeah, almost $1, all right? We closed at 681.44, and we are now at 682. All right, so if you, like I said, if you're not in, you can't chase. You want to wait for a pullback. Now 682, like we're like right here, right? So we are actually tagging this post market, all right, late night. Thank you guys for rocking with me this far, getting some value, hopefully, right? This is what I'm here for. This is what we're here for. All right, so right above here, you see that we're kind of right here. So we possibly could take out these highs, all right? Let the bears try once, let them try twice. We got us a classic W. We got a classic W shape once, twice, and we got higher time frame confirmation that's kind of agreeing with us. But that doesn't mean that on a small time frame, on the micro, that we can't fall. We do have bullish divergence where my MACD RSI type indicator, my QQE module, you do have it going towards the upside as if it's being oversold, and so that's something that you wanna pay attention to. All right. Now the closing price, like I said, is 681. So if you didn't get into call swings and we wake up higher, you want to wait for a pullback to revert back to these prices, and right, any pre-market lows. That's what you ought to wait for. All right. TradingView doesn't give me the allowed on this version to be able to look at the post market right now as I see on my different brokerage accounts. But don't worry, I got you covered. Just want to let you guys know that. That's why you still see price here and he's sitting here on the red. So put those together. All right. The VWAP bands. I want to show you this real quick. Okay. Well, this is actually the anchor VWAP. But I do use Webull, and they allow me to use what they call anchor VWAP, or the VWAP bands. VWAP bands, and it gives me these three levels. And right now we are above this top VWAP band, and that's showing bullish continuation. Institutions are buying. Whenever price is above, somebody can't afford for it to be below. All right, and right now we are above. Right now, all right, the volume is showing itself, no matter how much fear somebody has. All right, so you got that. You got your 21 EMA, your gray line right here, and you also have your Bollinger Bands. All right, these are pretty much all you need to use to find the perfect setup. All right, and the perfect pullback is right in front of your face. But remember, you need to find what fits for you. I'm giving you my playbook. Your edge comes from your own data and discipline. All right, so here we are. All right, Monday's close. All right, SPY hit that 680 like we called before. We even pushed through 681 and touching 682, shaking out some late bears. All right, so right now, as I'm recording this, SPY is hovering around that 682. All right, about half an hour left in the session. Today was a very, very good session, and really showed strength towards the end of the day. So heading into Tuesday, I'm watching for a possible retest of that 684 and 685 level. Maybe a push towards the weekly ATR highs. Short covering plus institutional buying from the COT report is still fueling this move, guys. All right, we got people buying on the big side. They're buying. So if you've been watching these videos and they've been helping you catch moves like this, do me a favor, subscribe. It's free. Analytics say that 60% of you aren't subscribed yet. You're watching every week. Hit that button, drop a comment with your favorite setup, and let's push these videos to traders who actually want to learn, because this isn't a hype channel. This is the Unique Trading Group, where strategy meets mindset and discipline turns into income. That's not a slogan, it's a system. Define your entry, your exit, and your risk before every trade, guys. Play the probabilities, not your emotions. Stack those consistent wins. That's how you trade for a living. Now, before I let you guys go,
Okay. I want you to see what I mean on a 4-hour. Okay. Look here on my 4-hour chart. Okay. These green, yellow, and red lines you see are from my DPMR system, my daily price movement range. Okay. We are above these previous ranges. We're curling up, overbought, right? Oversold, oversold. We're above the 21, above previous ranges, right? Previous day prices in the DPMR system. We've broken above these previous highs, taking out these bears, trying to fill this gap. That gap is around 682. All right, we hit it, kind of tapped it today. It was a high 682.18, and the low of this candle is 682.45. So we didn't quite fill in that gap yet. All right, but look at this upside here. All right, let's just take a moment, guys. Let's take a moment. We can take everything off of the chart, make it clearer. Look at the upside here. Look how clear this is. You got a simple line break. Let's keep it simple, right? We breaking structure right here, right? We broken above this structure here, okay? Above the 21. Just trying to fill that gap, right? Look at the volume profile. All right, we got to get past 683.50, 648, right? We got to get past 683 in order to see upside continuation. We're going to have some trouble here. All right, so tomorrow I will be taking my profits on SPY if I'm in profit, moving up my stop. All right, I appreciate you guys watching. I give you another update, but remember to wait for that perfect pullback on a smaller time frame. That's what you want to wait for. Okay, right here, you see that it's clear as day because we could get that drop back down. Right, 21, maybe bounce and retest these highs again. Right here, see, it's not that hard, right? All right, catching somebody chasing again to fall back down. You never know the step ladder. We did it before. It ain't like it ain't never happened before. It happened right here. Correct? Happened a bunch of other times. You just move over to the chart, whether it's a downtrend or uptrend. Okay, downtrend or uptrend. You always see these moves. Okay, here they go again, above the 21. All right, go up a little bit, fall back to the 21. Okay. Go up a little bit, fall back 21. Okay, go up a little bit, fall back to the 21. This time momentum lost and we fell down, and now it's acting as resistance until it's not anymore. Where is it not anymore, right? Fell back, look at that. Below the volume profile. All the way down here, guys. Listen, man, all you need to do is make sure that you're following the trend and understanding what you're dealing with. Right now, we're uptrending right now. And so you want to wait for that perfect pullback. You don't want to ever get caught chasing. Remember, we got that gap right here. It could fill, but right now we are above the closing price, and that's bullish. With a trouble area right here, the volume profile is 683. All right. Hope you guys have been enjoying this video again. Listen, I really appreciate you guys' time. This is the Unique Trading Group, where strategy meets mindset and discipline turns into income. All right. I see you guys on the next one. Be blessed out there. Let's get this money. All right. Peace.